wonderful world of Disney. Ida, the Offbeat Eagle. And now your host, Walt Disney.
On this program, we bring you the story of Ida, the Offbeat Eagle. All of us know that the eagle is a national bird of the United States. We see it on the backs of coins, on the fronts of buildings, on top of flagpoles, and in the center of the Great Seal. But did you know that it took 6 years to decide that an eagle would be the symbol on the Great Seal? Right after the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, a committee was appointed to select a design. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin. But you see, committees then were about like committees now, and the distinguished members couldn't reach an agreement. Benjamin Franklin, for instance, wanted the seal to feature a wild turkey. He said it was a respectable bird and a true native of America. Well, 6 years and several committees later, in 1782, the eagle design was finally selected. Of course, Ben Franklin was still talking turkey, but the committee in effect told Ben to go fly his kite. Anyway, the eagle on the Great Seal became the national bird. And strangely enough, while the image is everywhere, the bird is seldom seen and rarely recognized even then. Now, actually, there are two American eagles, the bald eagle and the golden eagle, which happens to be the subject of our story. Now, the eagle is master of the sky. Its spectacular flight is unmatched by anything in the world of man or nature.
Once sovereign of the skies above the northern half of all the earth. Today, the golden eagle rules only in small domains of wilderness. In the western United States, a remote stretch of the Snake River is such a kingdom. On this day, it was the queen bird that proclaimed again her royal right to take a tribute of food from the earth below. Her 7-foot wingspan carried her high above the rocky cliffs. Yet her incredible eyes easily found the ground squirrels below. In her hunting dive, she would exceed 120 miles an hour. It is nature's decree that the golden eagle take her tribute wisely and only as needed. For this queen bird, the need was urgent. These canyon walls still wear the nests of countless vanished eagles, but now only one was occupied. The nest is called an eyrie, and in this castle in the crags lived one tiny princess with an enormous appetite. In the normal course of blessed events, the queen eagle hatches a prince as well as a princess. However, this lone eaglet was a little offbeat right from the beginning. She was the first hatched, and what with all the excitement, the second egg was crowded out of the nest. There was another member of the family, though. Now the kingbird announced his homecoming with a fine display of aerial prowess. He was inviting his mate to leave the nest. The queen would accept the offer. In the nursery, her mate would take over, and she welcomed the chance to stretch her wings. For the little nestling now, each passing day meant another change as she made the transition from fuzz to feathers. And in the normal course of things, 10 weeks and 10 pounds later, she'd become a full-fledged eaglet. Then one day, square in the middle of her well-ordered life, fate dropped a whole tangle of trouble. At this hour, the adult eagles were always away on the morning hunt, and the man was taking advantage of his opportunity. This was no place to contend with a pair of irate parents. The eaglet had never seen a human before, but she knew this wasn't her kind of folks.
Say, you're a big one. Take it easy. I'm not gonna hurt you. That's it. Cut it out.
Actually, the invader was a naturalist, government employed, and banding birds was just one of his many jobs.
There. Ouch! Relax.
From these soft metal clips, man learns the migrating habits and lifespan of the eagles.
Take it easy. We're finished.
Her bird tag had a serial number and the letters IDA for the state of Idaho.
There you are. That's the latest style.
For the naturalist, it was just a good morning's work. For the eaglet, good riddance. For the bull snake, a good ledge for sunbathing. Of course, the naturalist couldn't tell a harmless snake by touch. So when he touched it, he tossed it. It really wasn't much of a battle. The eaglet was better armed and held the balance of power until she lost it. Now it's likely this was the first eagle ever that learned to swim before she learned to fly. And this was only the beginning. Next, her island of safety turned into a driftwood raft, and that really launched her career. The Eagle's maiden voyage spanned time and distance. The character of the land began to change, and by mid-afternoon, the river met the works of man. The Eagle faced a problem. She was rapidly running out of raft, and it looked like her journey would end on the brink of disaster. Well, she had a choice. She could go down with a raft or up on her own. Turbot, the dam keeper's assistant. Nature had given him one brown eye and one blue, but neither had ever seen anything like this before. White water would have destroyed her, but the turbulent air above it swept under her wings and lifted her into flight. Then she caught an updraft, and it carried her above the cliffs. She experimented, unsteadily at first, but gaining balance and confidence until at last she knew the wonder of her wings. It was her instinct now to return to the nest where she was born. But in this unfamiliar terrain, there was nothing to guide her. By sundown, she was hopelessly lost. She found the rim rocks of a foothill valley. Here, a long, trying day ended. Next morning, the Eagle was full of ambition, but nothing else. She faced the immediate problem of finding breakfast. To her, smoke was movement. Movement was life. Life was food. And that was correct, up to a point. Only the food here was breakfast for one genuine 100% hermit, Uncle Billy Kip. On his little ranch, the working day always began in exactly the same way, at exactly the same time. And Rufus was the official starter.
Morning, Rufus.
He never varied the ceremonial line of march that led to the high point of the day, a punctual, stirring rendition of the morning crow. Just a little warm-up there. Now for the peak performance on the ridgepole. By now, the Eagle was just plain fed up with being hungry. It was time for action. And down below, it was time for the clarion call.
Rufus, what's wrong with you?
Uncle Billy didn't know much about eagles and cared less. He'd handle this in a hurry.
You nasty buzzard, trying to kill my Rufus, huh?
Then he saw the band. Now, if he recollected rightly, a bird wearing one of those gadgets was protected by the United States government.
You government property, bird. Well, law says you don't go around destroying government property. Guess I gotta do my American duty. Oh, shut up, you ungrateful buzzard. I ain't gonna hurt you.
Get your hooks out of me!
Ida. Kind of a pretty name, 'cause that's an ordinary cuss.
And so she was named Ida, just like it said on the band. Now, Uncle Billy's biscuits were case-hardened and drop-forged, but he did tie a good bandage. He'd done a bang-up job on that bunged-up wing, but he sure didn't know how to treat an eagle's stomach.
Too dang finicky to eat my biscuits, huh? Well, that proves you don't know nothing.
Here, have a prime chunk of venison, you hide-falutin' buzzard. Hey! You nasty-tempered devil. You got me once already.
Uncle Billy led a quiet, well-ordered life, and he wasn't about to let any gold-plated government buzzard disturb the peace around here. In his simple terms, there were only two kinds of living things. The critters, like his chickens, for instance, or the goats. And of course, the critters had to be protected from the varmints, the killers, like that Ida bird down there in the cabin. Well, for several days, the ranch operated on a sort of hit-or-miss schedule. Seems the time clock had a severe case of insecurity.
Come on out here, you chicken-hearted rooster, and get your feed.
Come right down to it, though, maybe Rufus had the right idea. Nobody would rest easy around here until that eagle was healed up and headed for home.
Listen to that. She's just itching to get out here and get her meat hooks into you chickens.
And you aren't too safe either, Beulah.
Get off my chair. Come on, get.
Of course, it was typical of Ida. Even when she flew the coop, she walked. Question was, could she manage a takeoff? The billy goat came up with the answer. Well, her wing was working all right, but that test flight sure created a sensation in the barnyard. Gangway for Rufus.
You sneaking devil. After my chickens, huh? You go play the government buzzard? You know good varmint, you. Get out of here. Go on.
Hey, look out!
Ida actually was obeying a defensive instinct. Anything that came flying toward her would be met with extended talons. And if she couldn't eat it, she'd just drop it.
Well, what do you know? Old Fuss and Feathers wants to play. Catch this. Atta girl.
Uncle Billy figured maybe he'd passed judgment too soon. Sure looked like she was just out for fun and enjoying the game. In spite of being a little sore-headed, Uncle Billy did feel reassured about Ida. There she was, free to go, but choosing to stay. Uncle Billy decided he'd take a chance, give her the run of the place for a while. Of course, that could be a little rough on Rufus. So he'd make sure she never got wanting for victuals. As time rolled by, Ida continued to become less of a problem and more of a pet. One game led to another. Uncle Billy soon discovered she was a wise bird for sure. No trick could keep her from the treat. Well, just flipping a lid wasn't any challenge at all. So they moved on to more intellectual pursuits. Now, Uncle Billy was a master at the shell game shuffle, but Ida beat him 6 times in straight sets.
See you do that again, you overgrown coot. Okay, so you were lucky.
Uncle Billy was down to his last stake.
Stop your peeking, you sneaking varmint.
So far, he'd played it straight, but this was no time to be honest. He'd just bend the rules a little.
Okay, this time I got you. I don't believe it. Stop mangling my hat. Nobody can be that good without cheating. And even if you could, it wouldn't be fit for a bird to know more than a man.
Only a rest cure would heal Uncle Billy's fractured temper. But Ida was eager to go on with the game. She didn't know it was over. She'd found food under that hat before. Why not again?
No! Come back here! Come back here with my hat, you thieving scoundrel! Drop it! Drop it!
My best hat. Just don't pay to go rest for varmints.
Over at the hen house these days, Rufus had developed a bad case of coopophobia. Still, he never missed a morning crow. But living under a handicap like he was, he tried to sneak it in before anybody was up. Well, the day was officially open now. But where was that smoke signal that said breakfast? Ida was getting impatient.
shoot.
Saved by the bell. This was the day Uncle Billy had planned to go to town for winter supplies. He was pretty sure he could trust Ida now, but when he wasn't around, he figured to play it safe and keep her shut in for the day. Now, Uncle Billy had left her 3 square meals, but she'd rounded them up into one good breakfast. She was hungry again before Uncle Billy finished his countdown and blasted off from the launching pad. Now, it so happened that high up in the rim rocks, an old Tom Cougar had been mighty interested in Uncle Billy's departure. This wasn't the first time he'd considered a raid on those goats down there, but the man's presence had always held him off. Now he sensed it was safe to move in. The old cougar wasn't the hunter he used to be, but that didn't matter. Today he could take his time, take a goat, and take to the hills. Ida heard the commotion in the corral, but it held no meaning for her. What she wanted was to get out and do some hunting. Eagle had always considered the little ranch her personal domain, and now for the first time, she saw the cougar. A fierce instinct sent her driving down to defend her territory. One old cougar had his fill of one golden eagle, but he didn't get one smidgen of goat. Though Uncle Billy would never know it, the lives of his critters was Ida's farewell gift. Having disposed of the cougar, Ida began her search for food, and it carried her far from the ranch. By mid-morning, she still had found no game. And then a flash of movement below. She'd conquered a cougar. Nabbing a rabbit ought to be easy. Well, nobody had ever told her she wasn't supposed to run him down. Half a mile of hedge hopping brought results. She spotted something she knew she could handle. She'd really hit the bottom of the bill of fare, and it only sharpened her appetite. As Queen of the Skies, she was entitled to a more royal menu. She continued to search for it. Up till now, Ida might still have gone back to the ranch. She hadn't yet reached the point of no return. But she had come to a turning point in her life. This This young show-off was the golden boy of the wide blue sky. He figured he was the big flap up here and a wing dinger, and he wanted her to know it. Now for the grand finale. It'd give her a real pinion rattler. Ida was bewitched, bedazzled, and betrothed, all in a moment. Later on, they would mate. But first, in the manner of golden eagles, they would share a long engagement. Now the male eagle led the way into the air and called for his mate to follow. The male was a true high country eagle, and it was to the tall peaks and early snows that he led Ida. For Ida, it was a long trip on an empty stomach, but her mate shook off her suggestion that they stop somewhere for lunch. Well, she was going to drop down and do some hunting. Let him stay on his straight-through schedule. Ida was good at finding game and going after it, but not much on getting it. She wasn't even a match for a mouse. She hoped her blunder hadn't been noticed up there. But her mate had his own problem, a peregrine falcon. Half the eagle's size, but all fight and fury. And this was his private sky. Another hit. The eagle was battered and dazed now. The falcon swept in for the final strike. The ledge that saved the fallen eagle was well below the falcon's high domain. There would be no return. Not far away, Ida was flying to rejoin her mate. The cry led her to the ledge. In the male eagle's body, bone and muscle were bruised and torn. Ida sensed that she must hunt for both if they were to survive. In a gesture of cooperation, nature sent them a jackrabbit. And to Ida, at last, she gave the needed skill. So it was that Ida's first kill meant life for her mate, and she would continue to provide throughout the long period of healing. The big snows moved into the high country. Behind winter's curtain, Ida's mate would heal and grow strong again. It was on a day in spring that a new awareness stirred within the eagles. The time had come to find a nesting place. this would be Ida's choice. The male would follow her lead. Journey's end. Ida had found the familiar cliffs above Uncle Billy's valley. It was here that her mate caught up with her. Somewhere among these rim rocks, they would settle down to housekeeping. Ida knew just what she was looking for, and she found it. Long before Uncle Billy's time, the golden eagles had vanished from these cliffs, but their eyrie nests remained. A little remodeling, and one of these would do. Her mate got the idea right away. Remodeling would be a cooperative effort, though. The male would supply the raw material. She would arrange the decor. In the course of their nest building, it was inevitable that the eagles would fly over Uncle Billy's ranch from time to time. And of course, he spotted them. He figured one of them might be Ida, but even so, she'd gone back to the wild and wasn't to be trusted anymore. It couldn't be a worse time for eagles, what with nannies dropping young'uns right and left. Of course, as long as they stayed close to home and mother, the kids would likely be safe enough. So Uncle Billy decided maybe he was worrying a little too soon. As it turned out, though, he was worrying a little too late, because Nipper here already had plans for a breakout. He was the oldest kid and the biggest. For his first great adventure, he decided to climb that mountain, just because it was there. But a lot of kids don't know that a mountain can be a big heap of trouble, and Nipper was one of them. Of course, Nipper hadn't been overlooked by the eagles, but they decided he was harmless and went on with their family affairs. Nipper was only making conversation, but that's not the way Uncle Billy heard it.
Oh, don't tell me I've got a goat up in them rocks. A meat-hungry eagle after it.
Nipper saw it, Uncle Billy was just an old spoil sport. After all, he'd only reached the first plateau. His heart was set on the summit. It was right about now that Nipper's high road to adventure turned into a dead-end trail to trouble. was 1,000 feet to the valley floor. Uncle Billy was hanging on the thin edge of eternity. Nipper's problem would have to wait now, and it might wait a long time. Up, down, or sideways, there just wasn't any way off this ledge. Maybe Uncle Billy wasn't so lucky after all. The long drop would have been a lot quicker. Late that afternoon, Ida took a break from her labors. Now she spotted something vaguely familiar down along the cliffs. She moved in for a closer look. Uncle Billy had had an idea. There was a good chance his boot would snag among those rocks up there, but he just couldn't swing it around that overhang. Uncle Billy knew that had to be Ida, and she still remembered the old game. That gave Uncle Billy another idea. There was just a chance she might be his skyhook off of this ledge.
Ida! Come on, Ida! Come on! Come on, girl! Ida! Come on, Ida! Get that boot! Once more, Ida! Come on, try it again! Atta girl.
It was a lucky drop, but Uncle Billy's luck just wouldn't hold. One good thing, though, Ida was still enjoying the game.
Come on, Ida! Get that boot! Ida, let it go!
No, sir. She'd worked hard for that boot.
Let go, Ida! Come on, let go! Duck-gutted Ida, let go!
When Uncle Billy won the tug of war, Lady Luck finally lined up on his side. Now Ida remembered she had a nest to finish, and the time for games was over. In the course of that afternoon, Uncle Billy did a lot of thinking about varmints, at least the eagle kind. He owed his life to Ida, and he wouldn't forget it.
Quit your bellering so I can get you. Come on up, you troublemaker. You're more trouble than you're worth.
Well, the way Uncle Billy saw it, he could stop worrying now. As long as there was plenty of game in the valley, it wasn't likely those birds would ever bother his goats. As for Rufus, a little full coverage eagle insurance put him right back on the peak of his glory. In Uncle Billy's world, then, all was well. He had his piece of ground, his patch of sky. And to top it all, his own private spectacular. It was staged by Nature Daily, the aerial ballet of the Golden Eagles. Soon now, there would be new life among the crags and young wings over the valley. And so in the end, a queen of the sky would fulfill her royal destiny.
Well, that's the story, just the way Uncle Billy told it. Maybe it was a little offbeat, but if you've got any complaints, don't write us. You write to Uncle Billy Kip. His address is somewhere in Idaho.